Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wolfpacker Recruiting Show. My name's Ethan McDowell. I am your host. And welcome back. It's the second ever episode of the Wolfpacker Recruiting Show, and tons of exciting stuff today. NC State this weekend is hosting 10 official visitors. It is an incredibly busy weekend for the Pack. That they all arrive early afternoon Friday. As of recording this Thursday night. There's a group of 4 midweek visitors, and before they arrived on campus, NC State hosted the number 1 quarterback in the country, Faison Brandon, earlier this week. It has been an incredibly busy week of Wolfpack recruiting, and today we're going to focus on the upcoming official visits because I think this is one of, if not the most pivotal weekends of NC State's 2025 recruiting cycle. They're going to host, 2 commits, Will Wilson and Gus Ritchie. 2 longtime commits who have been a part of the class for a while, love NC State, and they're here to recruit a group of 4-star recruits, a highly recruited 3-star recruits. Just a lot of priority prospects are going to be on campus this weekend. It's a lot of everything that we've covered on the Wolfpacker.com has kind of built up to this moment, to this weekend. So it is, of course, we're going to record a YouTube show about it. And today we have 2 special guests. First, you will get to hear from NC State quarterback commit Will Wilson. And then we're going to talk to priority 3-star center Isaac Sowells. He goes by Spike, one of the top overall uncommitted prospects on the Pack's recruiting board. Someone that, both interviews were awesome. Just really, really enjoyable kids to talk to, really enjoyed their insights into their recruiting process. And we're going to get into that very shortly here. But before we do so, just want to plug the website. If you don't already, go check out the wolfpacker.com. It's only $1 to subscribe for your first month, and tons of premium content on there, as you can see right up here. Earlier today, had a mailbag, answered 12 questions about everything from, who stood out at spring practice through summer workouts, who the staff thinks is going to break out into a larger role. Over the past week, Noah Fleischman, my usual co-host for this show, and I have spoken with head coach Dave Doran, offensive coordinator Robert Anai, and defensive coordinator Tony Gibson, in addition to a couple other assistants. All of that content, all of that insight, info, it's all going up on the wolfpacker.com, and it's only $1 to read all of it. It's not going to get cheaper or better than that, to be honest, folks. So, we're about to, turn the page into football preview mode. We're like 70 something days away from game day. So, buckle up and go subscribe to the wolfpacker.com. It's going to be an exciting recruiting weekend, an exciting, month to follow as well. All right. We're not going to waste any more time. Let's dive into it. Here is my conversation with Will Wilson. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Wolfpacker Recruiting Show. I am now joined by NC State class of 2025 quarterback commit, the first commit of NC State's 2025 class more than a year ago, almost a year ago, right around that mark.
Almost, yeah.
I'm joined by Will Wilson, one of the longtime commits in the Pack's 2020-25 class. If you follow recruiting at all, you know Will. Will, thank you so much for joining today's show.
Thank you for having me.
And for those who don't know, Will, we have him listed at 6'1", 220 pounds. He's from Columbia, South Carolina at Richland Northeast High. He committed to NC State over offers from South Carolina, Penn State, TCU, Duke, and the list goes on and on and on. He was a heavily recruited quarterback who decided to run with the Pack and has been locked in ever since. He's going to be on campus this weekend for his long-awaited official visit. Will, the weekend I feel like you've probably been waiting for a while has finally arrived. Or how are you feeling about the upcoming official?
I'm excited. I've been looking forward to it. Just first of all, just going back home. Just the feeling I get when I get there. But also just a big weekend. A lot of great guys coming in. Excited to get after them. And just recruit them.
Yeah, and when we talk about NC State, you always refer to it as home. What made NC State feel like home and somewhere where you were comfortable enough to commit, a year ago?
Just the culture. The values they stand for. The values they stand for is the values my parents instilled in me. Just it overall just fits me just from the top down, from Coach Dorian down. So just the culture, the family atmosphere.
What are you looking forward to from this trip? What are you looking forward to seeing and doing while you're up there for the entire weekend?
Just just hanging around the facility, hanging around the coaches, especially Coach Roper. Every time I go up there, I'm always learning something. Every single time, and also just getting to recruit the talented guys that's going to be on campus this weekend. So that's exciting.
Yeah, and speaking of Coach Roper, I mean, you've come up here to talk to him and work with him on the field multiple times. You were up earlier this month for camp. What is the bond you have with him? Like, how strong is that connection you have with your future position coach?
Me and Coach Roper, we're really tight. Ever since he took over the role as a QB coach, last January, we've been really tight. We talk like almost once a week, besides the dead periods, of course. But it's just really tight.
Yeah, and when you were up here for camp, what was that experience like getting to get onto the field a little bit with him, get some in-person coaching from the guy?
It's great. He's very knowledgeable with the experience, he has from the NFL level to the college level, OC level, QB, the QBs he's coached in the past. It's just great to hear from him, the wisdom he speaks and things like that. He coached me hard, and that I know about that from my dad. So so yeah, I appreciate it, and I'm excited to get coached by him.
Yeah, and when you were there for camp, just to give the viewers a little inside peek, you did like a little like small group workout with Coach Roper before the camp really began, with some of the other priority quarterbacks who were there, and Dave Dorn was also there. He was in his golf cart. He pulled around and watched you work out for a little bit. Said hi. What's the connection like with Coach Dorn these days?
Real tight, he's a real guy. He's very authentic, and like he's a great guy. The love he shows is genuine. He's real, and I just appreciate it, and just what he stands for. Hard, tough, together. The family feeling. So we're really tight.
Yeah, and you've gotten to get a pretty close look at what NC State's offense looks like, how they use their quarterbacks. Why is it a good fit for your skill set there?
It's very balanced. I'm a dynamic player. I could. First of all, I'm a passer first. I beat you in the air with my arm, and I can extend plays with my legs. Coach Anah's offense is very creative. He gets a lot of people involved, and it's a great offense.
Yeah, and what kind of feedback have you gotten from the coaches when you're up there about what they want to see you continue to improve, and what do they like about your game?
Just keep going, keep working. I mean, you can never get enough work. You know, um, just like what I just stated. Just being very dynamic. Just being special, being able to beat you in the air with my arm and just extend plays with my legs. Not do too much, just do what you're supposed to. Be the leader, and yeah,
Yeah, and you're enrolling early, right, in January?
yes, sir.
So, what are your goals for senior year? What are you trying to focus on to make sure that last semester of high school, last season of high school football goes as well as possible?
I'm just tightening down on some technical things. Just maybe some mechanics stuff like that, but just more importantly, just trying to get more smooth and stuff like that. But yeah, some goals I have. I wanna get past the second round. We last year we got beat in the second round by South Florence. I also want a home playoff game, things like that. So it's a lot, but the main thing is just trying to get ready for when I step on campus in January. That's the biggest goal. Uh,
Yeah, something that I think most of the viewers and listeners don't really know about is how over the course of your 3 years so far of high school football, you and your father, who's your head coach as well, have really helped build that Richland Northeast program. I was there in South Carolina when you picked up a huge rivalry win for the first time in a long time. What has it meant to you to be a part of building a program to where you guys view it should be?
it's truly a blessing because Some viewers may know, but R&E, Richmond Northeast, used to be a powerhouse back then. It was like way back then, like the 2000s. And, over the years, like since like 2016, it just kind of fell down, slacked off. But, when I stepped in when I stepped my freshman year, in this high school, we just built it from bottom up. It was a process, but things don't happen overnight. So it's great because well, not just me, the guys that play with me, we can be the ones that say like we got it started again. It's a lot of talent coming back. It's a lot of talent coming into the school. So we just trying to keep it going. And build the powerhouse that Richmond Northeast once was. So yeah.
Yeah, and something that I see when I see you play, and I know it's something your father's talked a lot about too, is your leadership skills. It seems like that's something that you've really, embraced. You take on that role, even when I saw you play as a junior. Um, where do you think that leadership skill comes from? Is that something you've, concentrated on over the years, or is it just something that you feel like comes naturally to you?
I was just born a natural leader. Just being around the game for a long time. My growing up with my dad coaching football, things like that. But being a leader just came natural. Just and it's just been great because you get to see how people take things, and you just lead from that point on. So it's just natural.
Got it. And now I'm going to ask about what I think a lot of the fans want to know about. They want to know who you're recruiting, Will. Who are you talking to? Who are you trying to, convince to join you in Raleigh these days?
I've been talking to Malik Clark, Trell, Kentrell, right?
Hmm.
Kentrell, call him Trell Reinhardt. Um, I've hit up RJ Boyd. I've talked to Michael Gibbs, the old lineman. Um, uh, Last time I talked to Jarrell, I think it was in Jarrell Boulder. It was in spring, so I look forward to getting chatted up with him, and of course Nunu. Uh, Um, plenty more, plenty more. But I get to meet them in person this weekend, so that's exciting. But I've been working behind the scenes. I've been working behind the scenes for sure.
Yeah, and so later in this show, you all get to see our interview with Spike Souls, top priority center.
Oh, I'm sorry, Spike, my boy Spikes. I've definitely been talking to my boy. That's my guy.
Yeah, so he mentioned you as someone who's really been talking to
That's
him.
my
You and
that's
Gus
my
are
guy.
recruiting him.
That's my guy.
So when you're on campus with these guys, I know like you've said it before, you're not a huge like social media recruiter, but you prefer to build those, relationships in person. So when
hmm
you're on campus with these guys, like what's your message to them? What are you telling them about, why you love NC State and why you think it's a good fit for them too?
You want to come to a real place, just not everything's just not about football. Like Coach Dorian preached to me, take out football. You can come to his office. You could just be a man and talk to him. But overall, you want to get built a man. You want to be coached hard. You learn from the best. Come to NC State, and you want to come to a winning program. Come to NC State for sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, this was our conversation with Will Wilson. Will, thanks again for joining the show and safe travels to Raleigh.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our interview with NC State quarterback commit Will Wilson. Really appreciate him taking the time out of his schedule to sit down with us. We're about to talk to priority three-star center Spike Souls, one of NC State's top overall recruiting targets in the 2025 class. But before we get to that interview, I wanted to say a quick thank you to our sponsor, Game Time. Game Time is a ticket buying and selling marketplace. Whether you're looking for tickets to NC State's season opener against Western Carolina in Carter Finley Stadium, whether you're looking for, you know, Durham Bulls tickets to a concert, a comedy show, anything you can feasibly buy tickets to, Game Time has it. and you can find Game Time on your web browser at gametime.co, or to make it much easier, you can go check it out on the App Store under Game Time on any App Store. You can find it, download it. It's easy to use. I use it all the time, and it's great. It's super easy to use interface, and cheap tickets. They make the ticket buying process super easy. By far, my favorite part about it is when you pull it up on the app, you can see the exact view from where you'd be sitting. That takes a step out of the ticket buying process. It's not something you really think about. It saves you a minute, and it's something I really appreciate that they take the time to integrate into their app. So go check it out. It's the Game Time app, or gametime.co on your web browser. If you're looking for something to do next week, you can go to see a Durham Bulls game for just $9 right now. So it's a great deal, and to sweeten the deal even a little bit more, use code Wolfpack when you check out. That's all caps Wolfpack, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase. So go check it out on the App Store or on your web browser at gametime.co. All right, here is our interview with Spike Sowells. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Wolfpacker Recruiting Show. I am now joined by Spike Sowells, one of the top offensive linemen in the country, one of regarded, at least by the folks around here at On3, as one of the top centers in the nation. Spike has been a longtime target for NC State. It offered him, almost a year ago. Now, Spike, yes. A year ago in August, I believe it was.
Yes, sir.
NC State's made Spike a top priority since then. That he's visited a few times. He's going to be back on campus this weekend for an official visit, June 21st through 23rd. Spike, thanks for joining the Wolfpacker Show, man.
Yes, sir. Great to be here.
Also, and Spike, we've talked a bunch over the past year about your recruitment, about your bond with NC State. You're from Louisville, Kentucky.
Yes, sir.
And your recruitment has been national. You've taken visits from, South Carolina to Miami to Kentucky. It's a nice mix of in-state schools and then national programs recruiting you. Why is NC State a school that has piqued your interest and is somewhere you're seriously considering for college?
I'd say there's been two main big things. I say first is the communication between me and Coach 2J. Since Coach 2J offered me back in August, him and Coach Joker being from Kentucky, that kind of started the pipeline. But Coach 2J has been on me since then. Every single morning, I'll get a text from him. We'll talk every morning, motivational stuff. And I say number two is the people in the building. The people, just everybody around who's been with my recruitment. Coach Dorian at the head of all of it. Coach Falk, one of the recruiters who helps recruit me. Coach Mercy, he actually left, but he was the one originally started with my recruitment. And also I'd say the recruits have done a great job. Will Wilson, Gus Ritchie, Michael Gibbs, we've all kept in good contact just throughout these months to see as I've winded down to my schools.
So I want to ask about kind of your relationships with each of them individually. But before I do that, I just wanted to ask about the recruiting process as a whole. I know you've been fortunate enough to take a ton of visits. You've been able to take, is it 3 official visits so far? This will be
yes, sir. I've taken 3. So South Carolina, Kentucky, Miami.
So what's the process been like, man? Obviously, you're getting the red carpet treatment at each of those schools. Have you enjoyed it? What have been the highlights of that experience?
Oh, they've been great. Getting to meet new people, just getting to see all these different recruits, all the things, getting to really meet the O-linemen in the room, get to sit down with all the coaches. Like last week when I went to Miami for my official visit, there was about maybe 8 or 9 of us. I was the only recruit not from Florida. So that was pretty interesting. So just getting to see the different things that each school has to offer in these designated weekends and just seeing how I fit in with them.
Yeah, and now that you're getting close to the end of your official visit schedule, are you kind of feeling like, all right, I'm about ready to wrap it up here? Are you feeling you're getting closer to a decision?
Not necessarily closer to a decision. All the traveling has kind of wore a brother down because then we go right back to practice 7 a.m. every morning, and so just getting to really chill out. We have a cruise scheduled for next weekend for a week. So I have a notebook that I write the pros and cons of each school and then really get to just forget about football and stuff for a week and then come back and get ready for my decision time.
Awesome. And right now, your decision is set for July 18th, right?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything special about that day, or was it just the day that felt right?
we kind of kept pushing it back a few days because of one, I had to go to Hoover, Alabama for our 7-on-7 tournament. So that was the first pushback. And then my dad was like, pick a date that's far enough back to where a lot of our family from out of the
Yeah.
state can come see me. All the people who supported me through the years. And it comes out, and I commit the day before college football comes out. So that's awesome.
There you go. You can
Yes,
go
sir.
through and make yourself as a recruit
Right.
in the game and whatever
Yes.
school you pick. That'll be perfect. So when you get up to NC State this weekend, I know it's somewhere you've been before. They've been to see you a few times. What are you going to be asking about when you're on campus? What do you want to learn about NC State?
As I like you said, I've been on plenty of. I've been on a game day. I've been to a spring practice. I've been to a junior day. Now it's just wait until I feel a click. So with each school, there's just a certain feeling I need to feel when I really sit there and think, could this be my home?
Absolutely. And like you mentioned him already, Coach 2J, he's been a big part of your recruitment. You've said plenty of nice things about him before. What is your bond with him like these days?
Oh shoot! Every morning, right before I'm about to go work out, I see a text. I'm like, dang, he beat me up. Just keeping the constant contact. Just him trying to figure out just where my mind is and things like that, and just we kind of talk about just what each school, how each official visit's been, how my process is going as we get closer.
Yeah, and I know Coach Doran, the head coach at NC State, is playing a role in your recruitment as well. Because you're not only one of the top offensive linemen on their board, you're one of the top recruits overall on their
Yes, sir.
board. Does it feel that way? Does it feel like you're a top priority for them?
Yes, sir. Oh yeah. Usually you don't get text from the head coaches too much, but that is one of the schools where I have talked to Coach Doran before.
What do you like about Coach Doran from those conversations y'all have had?
I like his confidence. I like how he backs his guys. Of course, I brought up the Steve Smith clip in one of my interviews, and I thought that's real big for our head coach to really take up for your guys, especially on national television. He just seems like a great coach to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. And what kind of feedback have you gotten from Coach 2J or the rest of the staff about what they like about your game?
What he likes about my game is my ability to move, my ability to bend, work on the second level, keep my feet going, things like that. And he's also one of the few coaches who've told me what things that I can work on, and I truly respected that from him.
Yeah, and I know they see you as a center prospect in high school at Louisville Male. You play all over the offensive line.
Yes, sir.
What about your skill set do you think makes you a good fit for the center position?
I'd say I am a little bit shorter on the shorter side, but I have very great length. I have 10 and 7/8 hands. I have an 83-inch wingspan, 34.5-inch arms. So really, I'm a center, but like I can play guard. I'm just a little condensed down from a tackle. I have the length, just not necessarily the height and lower body length, but I think that's what makes me a perfect center. My IQ on the football field, like you see right there, I'm pointing out. I can see the stunts about to come work with my running back, but just things like that, I think makes me a very great center prospect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of wanted to ask about that because I think no matter who you talk to, everyone's kind of in agreement you're one of like the top centers in the country. The rankings don't necessarily reflect that, and like you are a 3-star prospect for now.
Right.
So when you go to all of these, like I know you've been to the Under Armour camp, you've been to like the All American camp and all of that. When you go and get to compete against some of the best defensive linemen in the country, do you go with a chip on your shoulder?
I always feel I have a chip on my shoulder, but I know there's some things I just can't control. My recruitment started a little bit later than others. Maybe not as big as my first offer was Indiana State. Some guys was Georgia, Alabama, things like that. But I think I can only control my controllables, and so I kind of just keep my head down sometimes, and just when it's time to go work, it's time to go work.
Definitely. And you mentioned after all these visits, man, you're getting up at 7 a.m. for workouts. What are you working on to make sure your senior year goes as well as possible?
I have started. I'm playing defense also this year, a little bit of D line.
Oh,
Just
man.
anything that can help my team win. We lost a few starters on the D line, so just helping lead in my D line too. So not just the O-line is straight, the D-line is too. Teaching my young guys on the O-line the ins and outs, so they can. So once I'm not here anymore at Mail, I move on to college, that they can carry the legacy on at Mail High School.
Awesome. Yeah. And circling kind of back to NC State here. I mean, so you talked about your relationship with the commits, Will and Gus.
Yes.
Whenever I hear from Gus Ritchie, he almost always mentions you and how he's in your ear and trying to get you to come to NC State. I know y'all met at the junior day in January, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
Why is he someone like you've enjoyed getting to know?
I'd say just his personality. One, he's a very great recruiter. He is very great talking. He seems like a very great guy. This weekend will help solidify that. Just getting to hang out with him and see, but just how he describes NC State, hard workers, likes to have fun, a great coaching staff who believes in their team, and just people who play with a chip on their shoulder is the biggest selling points he's told me.
Yeah, and isn't it helpful when like you get to know Gus and you get to know Will, who could be your quarterback at the next level?
Right.
Is it helpful to know like before you even go on an official visit, you already know the guys that you could be playing with at the next level if you chose that school?
Yes, 100%. So with some schools, I'd visit there so much, I already knew the guys in the O-line room. But of course, when it comes to recruits, it kind of changes each time. So when you go in there and you already know the recruits you're going to be on your visit with, it just makes the visit so much better, because it's guys you already know, you've already talked to and things like that. It's kind of hard when you're going on a visit and you don't really know much about the guys that you're in there with. It's kind of just harder to bond with over the weekend.
Definitely. No, that makes complete sense. And are there just any boxes you still need to check with NC State? Any things you need to find out before you feel like you have everything you need to make that final decision in little less than a month here?
No, sir. I think they checked my three biggest boxes for each school. Was just, I'd say it was the my opportunity to play early, connection with the coaching staff, and fan engagement. And I say they checked those three boxes pretty well.
Awesome. All right. Well, Spike, enjoy the trip to Raleigh and safe travels. And thank you again for joining the Wolfpacker Show.
Yes, sir. No problem. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Wolfpacker Recruiting Show. I hope you enjoyed both of our interviews today. Both Will and Spike, great kids and great football players who, they're going to be very lucky to have Will in Raleigh. And if Spike ends up choosing the Pack, I mean, that'll be quite the duo under center at NC State. So, all right. In addition to those two, NC State's going to have 8 other official visitors on campus. I just published a long intel story with updates on all 10 prospects scheduled to be on campus this weekend. So you can go check that out on the wolfpacker.com. I would encourage you to do so. Lots of good info in there. I am going to just kind of run through everyone who's expected to visit just super, super quickly, rapid fire. If you want the premium recruiting info, it is only $1 to join the wolfpacker.com for your first month. I don't think I'm asking that much from y'all. If you guys could help me out, go check it out on the wolfpacker.com. But we are going to talk about each of those guys real quick. And the first of which, you can see him right here, is Gus Ritchie, a 3-star tight end commit. He's another guy. It's like Will. If you've been following Wolfpack recruiting, you know who Gus Ritchie is. He's a very, very good player for Cary High. So just a short drive over from Raleigh right now. And just a really dynamic inline tight end who is going to enjoy doing all, the stuff that you want an inline tight end to do. He has a good catch radius, good explosiveness to go up and get a ball, but he's going to put his hand in the dirt and he's going to block the crap out of whoever he needs to block. He embraces every part of being a true tight end. He is someone that the recruiting services consider like a mid 3-star prospect. To NC State, he's a cornerstone of the class. They love him. So he'll be on campus. He's also a great recruiter. I mean, mentioned it a little in Will and Spike's interview. Gus, very active recruiter, loves NC State, and that comes through when you talk to him. And I think he had even told me he was going to camp Friday morning before he goes on his official visit. So can't say enough about Gus. Pack's very excited to have him committed to the class. Moving on to some of the uncommitted prospects. The first player we're going to talk about is Malik Clark, who I think is absolutely one of, if not the best receiver on NC State's board right now. He's on 3, has him as a 4-star recruit. I think, where he's at right now, I think he's at like mid 200s in nationally. I think he's going to shoot up the rankings his senior year. I saw him at an Under Armour camp, and he just dominated. He's, legit 6'2" and runs a 10.55 100-meter dash. That's elite speed, especially at his size. So, excited to get him on campus. NC State definitely is. And, they're competing with, it's a heavyweight recruitment. He's competing with South Carolina, Auburn, Florida State, and North Carolina. So keep an eye on him, and we'll let his, highlights play for a little bit here. But next guy we're going to talk about is Jarrell Boulder, another 3-star receiver who, I think is underrated by the recruiting services. And his offer list reflects that. He's getting recruited by, Georgia, Tennessee, Michigan. They're all on his offer list. He has an elite offer list. NC State's been recruiting him for a really long time. And, just a really good player who can play inside and out. I think you'd be comfortable with him in the slot and outside, because even though he's listed at 5'11", I mean, he'll go up and just absolutely just go get a ball. He is just a very, very impressive player. As you can see here, right now, Georgia is leading his recruiting prediction machine by a wide margin, and that is a strong shift from where things were headed a week ago even. So he officially visited the Bulldogs over the weekend. It seemed like he might commit this week, but he held off to take his NC State official visit, and he's going to make a decision after that. So keep an eye out for Jarrell Boulder. Again, one of my favorite in-state prospects in North Carolina this year. So out of Forest Hills High. So yeah, he'll be there though. He's going to be on campus, and stay tuned to Wolfpacker.com to see how that recruitment continues to develop and evolve before a summer decision. All right, the next guy we're going to talk about, Shamarius Peterkin, 4-star wide receiver from Mount Tabor High in Winston-Salem. He's a 6'2", 6'3" pass catcher who, another just like fluid athlete who, he's a basketball player and has the athleticism to reflect that. Like, he's going to be able to take the top off of defense, and he can win a jump ball as well. And he has, great speed to boot. I think if, the Pack can land him as an outside receiver prospect, you're looking at a huge recruiting win for the staff. I mean, he right now is the number 7 player in North Carolina in the On3 industry rankings, and it's easy to see why. I saw him live during the playoffs last year, and he went over 100 yards, had a really, really nice diving catch at one point, and had a touchdown as well. So he's someone that his recruitment has, it looks like he was a heavy North Carolina lean for a while. If you've been following the Wolfpacker.com, for like 6 months now, that's been changing. And now I think, some of the other, stuff is starting to reflect that, that the momentum is starting to shift in his recruitment. We'll see what happens this weekend, but I like where NC State stands. I have way more info on that on the Wolfpacker.com. All right. Next, we're going to keep running through the 8 other prospects other than Will and Spike, because we already talked to them. But we're going to talk about Kentrell Reinhardt. Will brought him up as someone that he is recruiting, and he is the Pack's number 1 running back prospect. And it's easy to see why when you turn on his film. He's a really powerful runner who he's not necessarily making a ton of guys like miss laterally, but if he gets a little bit of space, he's gone. Like he has really impressive top end speed at 6'2" and over 200 pounds. It's easy to see why the Pack has prioritized him. Right now, the Pack's competing with Minnesota, Syracuse, Iowa, and also has offers from schools like Kentucky, Missouri, and Miami. Heavily recruited prospect who the Pack really, really values. They've been to see him. He's been to NC State. And the running back from Ohio will be back on campus this weekend. Again, he's the top running back prospect on the board. Like he's someone that Pack fans should be excited about and keeping a very close eye on going into this weekend. He has a commitment date set for July 5th, by the way. All right, next up is Michael Gibbs. He's another guy who, like, if you've been following NC State's recruiting, like, you know who Michael Gibbs is. He is, one of the top offensive linemen on the board from Hoggard High in Wilmington. So an in-state prospect. The Pack's competing with Duke and Virginia Tech in his recruitment right now. I'll be honest, I see this pretty much as an NC State, Virginia Tech recruitment at the moment. He also has offers from schools like Penn State and some of the other in-state programs. But he is someone that On3 considers an interior prospect. NC State sees him as a tackle, so he's a versatile offensive lineman who can slide inside or out depending on what you need. He's been in NC State a bunch, so he's very familiar with the Pack. This trip will really just be about focusing on the details, seeing how he gets along with everyone. He's very close with offensive line coach Garrett Tujay. And we're expecting a decision from him, late June, early July. He doesn't have a firm commitment date set, but, I don't think his recruitment's going to stretch into the fall or anything. All right, next up, we're going to talk about a player that is very familiar for Wolfpack fans. Arion Concepcion goes by Nunu. He is a 5'10" wide receiver from Charlotte, playing for Chambers High. And yes, he is Kevin Concepcion's little brother. He is, you watch him play and it's easy to see, like he has, shades of KC in the same way that they're both really hard to tackle, really dynamic after the catch, and just, special athletes, in my opinion, who I think I saw Arion play 3 times last fall. I saw him in a couple camps before that. And I just thought every time I saw him, he was taking noticeable steps forward. So I'm really excited to see what his, skill set looks like by the fall. He camped at NC State, a couple weeks ago with Will Wilson. And I thought he looked great at camp. So really looking forward to seeing what he does as a senior. The Pack's competing with Virginia Tech here is the main other school. He was supposed to visit the Hokies earlier in the month. He postponed that trip to the fall. Right now, we've written a lot about, Concepcion's commitment timeline. You can go check that out on the wolfpacker.com. But I'd say across the board, we're pretty optimistic about where NC State stands for the sibling legacy recruit. All right. And last but certainly not least, we're going to talk about a defensive lineman, the only defensive lineman on campus, Amarian Abraham from American Heritage High. If you follow, high school football or high school football recruiting, you should know they're a powerhouse, one of the best programs in Florida and the country. And he's a nose tackle prospect for the Pack. He, was up at 6'2" and 280 pounds. And he would play, in the middle of NC State's defensive line. He showcases some pretty solid athleticism in his tape, I thought. And he also holds offers from Pittsburgh and West Virginia, but NC State will be his first official visit. And in the past, he has called NC State one of his dream schools. So he is someone I'm definitely keeping a close eye on this weekend. So yeah, keep an eye on him as well. And I believe I think we talked about everyone. Yeah. All right. Well, that's everyone, folks. That is the last official visit group of the month. I'll tell you what we're going to be trying to do. We're going to try to, as this visit weekend wraps up, there's midweek visitors on campus right now as I'm recording this Thursday night. And what's going to happen is we're going to get a lot of decisions really quick over the next few months. I've been joking about it on our message board. I'm just going to be writing nonstop pretty much for the next month, really. So it's going to be exciting. What I'm going to try to do is whenever there's breaking news, whenever there's a commit, I'm going to try to record a quick video. We're going to watch that prospect's highlights and talk about what their commitment means. I think it should be cool. It'll be quick, like a lot faster than this half-hour episode. But I think it'll be a cool look into a way for all of y'all to kind of stay updated on what's happening with Wolfpack recruiting. Because on the wolfpacker.com, we're always trying to figure out something that folks aren't doing, something that a way we can bring more in-depth, better recruiting coverage to you all. Like I said at the end of the first show that we did for this, like the Wolfpacker Recruiting Show is new. If this is your first time watching, this is only the second episode of the Wolfpacker Recruiting Show. And it's something I'm working on. I've never done anything like this. I usually have, Noah Fleischman here with me to kind of talk through everything. So always open to suggestions, feedback. Leave a comment, get on our message board, message me there. Always appreciate the feedback, positive or negative. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the interviews. Hope you enjoyed the insight. And I think we'll have another one of these pretty soon. So stay tuned for that and check out thewolfpacker.com. Thanks, folks. Bye.